So, what would I like to see out of Power Rangers in 2024? Something. Just something.
Dawson's Rentals.
Hey YouTube, Dawson Ryder here. This is my video concluding the trilogy of videos where I discuss what I want to see out of 2024 and beyond of my three franchises that I cover the most here, which is Ryder, Sentai, and PR. Today's obviously, of course, being Ben 10. No, it's PR. So, PR is in the most unique place because obviously with Kamen Rider and Sentai, I'm like, okay, this is the current series, this is what I want to see from it, this is what I want to see in the future. But as of right now, there is no current series. As of the time I'm recording this, the only thing ongoing is the current comics. You know, the comics that are going are the main ones, and Ranger Academy, and then any one-offs that they come up with from Power Rangers universe and whatever. And then any, like, third-party merchandise that gets announced. That's all that's going on currently with Power Rangers. Third-party merchandise and the comics. And the reboot's supposedly still coming. It has been officially announced. I want to remind people that even if it gets canceled tomorrow, it was officially announced. It's not a rumor. I don't know why people keep saying that. Again, it could be canceled while I'm talking about this, but as of this moment, it was officially announced that happened. But yeah, and every time we hear about a reboot rumor, it's just like, oh yeah, it's still happening. MS will be like, yeah, it's still happening, but we don't know anything. So I think that's the main thing I want from this year, is I just want some sort of status update, you know? That sounds like, you know, Twitter or Facebook status update. But just like, they haven't said anything, and you know, I've been kind of on the fence about that, where it's like, people are like, we deserve it, they have to tell us everything. Like, they don't owe you anything. If there's nothing to say, there's nothing to say. But admittedly is a very quiet time, very uncertain. You know, they winded down basically the main franchise, and all we know is that there's maybe probably a reboot off in the future. So at some point before this year clocks out, I think they need to make some sort of statement, even if it's that they're going to shelve it, or they're going to shelve it indefinitely, or something like that, that they're not, you know, knowing what to do right now, and they want to come up with a plan. Just something so that we know what's going on. You know, I'm sure that they're not announcing like cast or story details, because that might not all be worked out or something, but at least a status update at the bare minimum of, you know, when this might happen, or like when they'd like it to happen. You know, that's probably something also too, is they don't want to say like 2025, 2026, because they don't know either. But it would be nice if they said like, we're targeting 2026, or like by the latest 2027, or something like that. Just some sort of status update to let us know that something's happening or nothing's happening, just so we have a little bit more ground to stand on. As far as like eventually, of course, you know, I hope the reboot happens, I hope it takes off, all that stuff I always say. You know, I would love for us to get to a point where we could kind of have multiple things going on. Right now it seems like while Hasbro wants something to happen with PR, or would rather like something to happen with PR, they don't know what to do with it, and they're, you know, insecure about it and don't see it as enough of a priority to do multiple projects, which is understandable. I see multiple people being like, why don't they just do this, this, and this? I'm like, dude, that'd be so expensive to have like 3 productions going on, and they don't have enough faith in it. And like, I think the fans get insulted because they want everyone to care about PR as much as they do, and that's just not going to happen. I think they want something to happen with it, they just don't see it as worth as big of a risk of having multiple productions. But I would love for them to have multiple things going on, like have the reboot universe, then maybe do like an animated show, or animated movies based on the comic stories, maybe like a Rescue Bot style show for the kids. I'd love for us to get to a place where we had multiple things going on. Like, especially I think it would be nice to get maybe something like an animated series going, if the reboot does well enough, so that way, like, because even if the reboot takes off, I recently did a video talking about, like, if the reboot does well, or how I think it'll happen, and my guess is actually it'll go 1 or maybe 2 seasons and then fizzle out. But even if it does well, it's not going to last on Netflix forever. Like, most things don't last past maybe 4 or 5 seasons on there. So I'd like for them to get, if the reboot or whatever they're going to do next does well-ish, have some other stuff going, so that there's always something kind of going, or, you know, around the corner. I think it's going to kind of end up being like Transformers and stuff, if it, you know, comes back in a way. Not that it's going to be big as Transformers, but I mean, with Transformers, you'll kind of shuffle in and out. You'll have quieter periods between projects. And in the most recent years, you've kind of almost always had something with that. But in the past, Transformers and other franchises, Turtles as well has been a franchise where you'll have quieter periods, and there'll be gaps between projects, and the projects will be different. I kind of see something that happen to PR. Like, if PR can get to a place where it can be more stable-ish, I don't necessarily see us going back to it'll be around all year like Sentai and Rider and like PR used to be. I see it more being like those franchises where it's kind of always around, but just like in pockets, if that makes any sense, and it's got a presence. So I'd at least like to see them cook some stuff up so that, I hate that I just use that phrasing, but so there's something always kind of happening, you know? And of course, I'd love to see the comics continue as well. I've really been enjoying Darkest Hour. Ranger Academy's been pretty fun, so I hope that they continue with that. I'm really eager to see, like, if they get to season 3 stuff. I don't think we'll ever move to, like, Zeo and stuff as the main comic, but I hope they continue after Darkest Hour. I would like to see more standalone graphic novels. It's been really great that we've had, like, Power Rangers Unlimited and stuff to do these little, like, standalone origin stories and character focuses that they tie into the main comic usually some way, but they also stand alone, and that's been really cool. But I'd love to see stuff like the Time Force graphic novel or Soul of the Dragon. I'd love to see that come back. I think I said that last year, and we didn't get anything like that. You know, we have miniseries and stuff like, you know, Amy Jo Johnson's coming out, but I'm talking about just like some standalone graphic novels. Like, I'd love to see that happen again some more. As far as the merchandise, that's on hiatus too. I mean, I was struggling when making this video because it's like, for what I want to see, like there's a lot of stuff I'd love to see. Like, yeah, let's do the reboot, let's do an animated, let's bring back Lightning Collection, let's do Cosmic Fury line, I want Cosmic Fury figures, you know, but I was trying to think more realistically, and that's something else I hope we do get some news on, at least by the end of the year, of what their plans are for that. I'd love to see the Lightning Collection come back and just come back better and do role-play items and Zap and figures. I think it would be nice, actually, if they just dialed it back, because in a lot of ways I was thinking, you know, I don't know if this is necessarily part of the reason for the QC issues, because I know it wasn't just PR, but it definitely seemed like we hit a point where they were putting like pedal to the metal Commander, and they were doing a lot of releases pretty quickly, both in terms of like waves and like Best Buy, you know, type exclusives and stuff like that. And when it comes back, I think it would be valuable to maybe be slower. So like waves are fewer and far between, you know, so it's not like we're getting so much at once. Like that might be a little annoying to some people, but maybe so that they can focus on just making some quality figures, like quality wave, you know, so that within a year we don't, maybe only get a couple waves and a couple exclusives that are like retailer exclusives or Hasbro exclusives and stuff like that. I think maybe just slow and steady until they can build back up and kind of find a steady rhythm. I had brought this up in a different video, I don't remember which one it was, but I'd also love to see them, when there is eventually content that's more regular, hopefully, have a synergy between like the toys and the releases. Like they have that with Star Wars and Marvel, like not necessarily always with the comics and the books, but whenever there's a major project like a movie or a show or something like that, you usually have a wave of figures or figures released, like individual exclusive figures released around that. And like when Ahsoka dropped, like they had pre-orders for the stuff for that. And when, you know, What If dropped, they had stuff around that. Like it's been slightly off ever since like the pandemic and stuff. And there was like there's a weird delay or whatever you want to call it. What's that word? Lag. I was like, what's that gaming word? Sometimes. But there's generally a synergy of like they're working on relevant stuff around the same time. And so I'd love to see that like Lightning Collection, like wave of the reboot figures come out around the time the show's going to come out. Or I'd love to have that synergy with the comics, because like I love those dark corrupted Ranger figures, and like that'd be cool if like, hey, this debuted in the comic, that's going to be in the Lightning Collection next. Or, you know, let's say they do an animated Draken movie, let's do a Draken figure. So I'd love to see them have a little bit more synergy, and I would like to see them come back to have something, but I hope that part of the reason they're doing this is to take their time to figure out how to get some of the quality control issues under. I'm sure people will still be like, he doesn't have this white line here, they're killing the brand! There's still going to be those people there, but I hope that they take their time and that they do come back with something. And like I said, maybe a slower approach, not trying to do so much so quickly, would be nice, just because maybe that was part of the reason. I feel like we're gotten an awful lot a lot quicker. But yeah, it's definitely a weird point here. This is the biggest lull we've had. It's like even different than like when Power Rangers was supposedly dead between like Disney and Saban and stuff, because it's not technically dead. It's like in a coma. It's like weird. So I just hope we hear something. Like there's all kinds of stuff I'd like to see for the future of the franchise in regards to shows and merchandising. But again, like I said at the top of the video, primarily I just want us to hear something. Even if they don't have a lot to say and it's kind of vague, even if they admit that and say, we're not entirely sure like when this is going to come out, but we're still working on it. Just something to give us a little bit of context, because right now we're kind of just in a sea with like nothing to grab onto. But what do you guys hope to see this year? Let me know in the comments as always. Until next time, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and climb the steps and ring that bell so you get notifications for my videos. Dawson Ryder, signing out.